My first thing.
Oh, well, so great. So great to have you. Is it Marissa or Marisa? Okay.
Yeah, Marisa like Teresa. How's that?
Okay. That is fair. You might need to remind me every once in a while.
It looks like Marissa, but it's Marisa. So you can
Okay.
say Marisa. So
Marisa. Okay. So lovely to see you all here today. I am Camille Leon. I am the founder of what was originally known as the Holistic Chamber of Commerce and now Holistix Online. Um, and CEO, I suppose. I'm much more comfortable with the title of founder than CEO, but that's what I'm doing now. So, okay, call a spade, CEO. Um, and Laura Goldstein is my second in command, really. Our community, we're still, by the way, we're all still
Person.
desperately, right. We're still looking for the titles that we love. We don't love manager. We don't love goddess. I don't know why my screen just went so dark and I don't know why my screen is changing its color filter, but you should be aware that at least in my view, my screen keeps changing its color filter. Very distracting when we have visual hiccups like this. Okay. Enough of all the chit chat. Oh, look at that. We still have new people coming in. Lovely. Um, take it away, Camille. Okay, so I think the official title of this is What Do You Do When You Outgrow Your Brand? Is that the official title? So this is really what do you do when the world changes around you? What do you do when you're stuck, when you really want to be growing? So it is something that recently came up for us as an organization and as a company. We went through the process. I mean, many people can tell you there are still days when I'm like, we're 7 weeks in. How am I still looking at this? How does this still need to be fixed? So it's a process. It's not a like flip the light switch and your lights all come on all at once. Um, so just a little foundation, and that is in in 2008, there's a number you don't hear very often. I started beta testing the idea of a local only holistic chamber of commerce. It was local only, West LA. If you weren't in West LA, you probably didn't hear about it. You wouldn't have known about it. You certainly wouldn't have been interested in coming to the meetings. In 2010, we went official, came an actual company, and started creating groups elsewhere. First other group was actually in Texas, believe it or not. Um, and so from 2010 to 2020, early 2020, you might remember that year, we had steady growth all over the place. And in 2020, the world changed. We'll just call it a disruption, whatever you want to call it, that's fine. But the idea of local groups just stopped happening. And we still had local groups. It's not like all of our groups and all of our members went away. We have maintained a presence all along the way. And some of our local groups found ways to actually keep meeting in physical locations near them. And we're now 5.5, 6 years out from that disruption in March of 2020. And we've discovered that the world has not bounced back in quite the same way. And there are some things that we miss about the way things used to work. And there are probably some things that we kind of love about the way things work now. I mean, frankly, I love that I am having this meeting with all of you. And none of us had to drive anywhere. We didn't have to deal with traffic. We didn't have to deal with parking. If we want our pets with us, they can be wandering around our feet. They can come up and help us with our keyboards. Um, I used to have a cat, so I have fond memories of when my cat was able to help me on my keyboard and distract me from actually getting any work done. And the good news is, right, we can now connect to many more people much more easily. So the fact is that there's still plenty that happens face to face in we'll call it a brick and mortar location. I no longer use the term in person because frankly, we're in person here online, right? Most of us are here. You might have your video off because you're driving, or you might have your video off because there's something else going on in your background, but we're in person online. So I now use the term locally based to describe something that's going on in your location. Um, Yay. Last month, we actually had somebody on 3 of our meetings who was from Pretoria, South Africa. That's a long flight, not to mention how expensive that flight is, right? Um, which also goes to show that the idea, the concept, the exploration of holistic approaches to health, wellness, and being in business, it's a global conversation. Now, we started in the US and California. My focus is still pretty much on the US. I want to cover the US coast to coast with holistically aligned consumers, professionals, practitioners, business owners, call it what you will, with the holistically aligned community. Okay, I will just say Laura is monitoring the chat. So if questions come up, if you could put them in the chat, I will probably be partially paying attention to the chat, but she'll interrupt me when I really need to be interrupted. And she'll have some things to share later on as well. Okay, so that's really element one of the world has changed, and we recognized that change, right? So that's part of the reason for the new brand name, Holistix Online. The other part of the reasoning behind that is the term Chamber of Commerce, the brand Chamber of Commerce, really had a lot of people going, is there a local group near me? What? There's not a local group near me? And I don't want to start one. So, so I'm not going to join. Well, if you don't join, then you don't get the benefits. And equally important, you're not in the online referral directory, which is how we connect consumers to you. If you're a professional, a business owner, somebody who has a product or service you sell, that member directory is a referral directory for us. So, so part of it was just that we wanted to make it clear that we are actively functioning online so that more consumers and professionals, practitioners, and business owners got that it's online. I mean, People are looking for something. Where do they go for? Where do you go first? Pick up your phone, maybe? Go to Google? Not everybody, but mostly that's where people start. We also start with our friends, our family members, our colleagues. We go to social media. I'm looking for a naturopathic doctor. I'm looking for a chiropractor. I'm looking for an acupuncturist. I'm looking for, oh my God, I'm looking for some solution to get off of all of these pills, right? That's all stuff that's happening online. Those are conversations that are happening online. So we wanted to free up our time, our energy, our resources to make sure that the connections were and are and continue to happen online.
Can I
I mean,
interject something?
yes, you may.
Okay. Uh, when you're talking about the name Chamber of Commerce, it's also very pertinent to business owners. And the thing with Holistix Online is that you don't have to be a business owner to be holistically minded. And we wanted to create an environment that was more inclusive, that invites in professionals that can do things, and I'll talk about events a little bit later, that can do things for seekers who are like, oh, I've heard of that. I really want to experience that. Oh, this might help me, but let me try that. And so it becomes more of an all-inclusive community for not just professionals and business owners, but also those who want to learn about different solutions. And what opportunities are there for them.
Well, so I'll expand on that. I think that when we used the word holistic with a C, we also found that a lot of people had a box around what it means to be holistic with a C, which is why we have swapped out that C for an X, holistics. Just as an example, on today's webinar, we actually have somebody who is a branding expert, a holistically aligned branding expert, right? So we really wanted to open up and be clear about the fact that there are holistic approaches to being in business, and we have those like-minded service providers as well, right? We have website designers, social media experts. Uh, we actually have some bookkeepers because when you're
Financial
making,
managers.
that's right, when you're making money, honey.
You need a financial manager.
Yeah. So, okay. That actually kind of, by the way, I didn't write myself a strict script. I have a bunch of notes today. Hopefully I'll cover everything in my notes, but I didn't want to be too tied to a specific script. So I do think it is worth mentioning that there are some very successful businesses that have done rebranding, significant rebranding, changed their business names. So let me just go see if I can find that little page. So we'll just give you a couple of them. Some of these, when I started looking, by the way, were big surprises. Does anybody know what Amazon was originally called? Amazon had a name prior to Amazon. It was Cadabra. I know. What? Cadabra? They changed their name pretty quickly because apparently people were calling it cadaver. And we all know that's just not the best. So Google, this was also a big surprise. So we all know that Google has added a parent company, Alphabet. I think everybody here probably knows that. So by the way, the original brand Google came before the parent of Alphabet, which is that a rebrand? It's a little bit of a rebrand, right? It's a reorganization. But originally, in 1996, Google was Backrub. I mean, there's a big part of me that's like, what? Like Backrub? But be that as it may, right? So there are definitely case histories and examples of companies for whom the name change, the public facing brand change was a good thing. Pepsi, this is funny. And this Pepsi, so Pepsi started in 1893. I'm not going to get into how you feel about sodas or soda pop or whatever you want to call it. But in 1893, it was Brad's drink. Brad's drink. Pepsi, better known, easier, faster. Oh, by the way, yes, absolutely a perk. Holistix Online, short, sweet, easier to type, harder to get typos. These little, tiny little perks. Subway, those sandwiches, opened in 1965 as Pete's Super Submarines. Pete's Super Submarines, right? So, it takes a little something to do a major public-facing rebrand, but there are definitely case stories of companies for whom it was a good move. It was a smart move. And we are already seeing some of the results of stepping into, I'll call it an expanded presence. So, all right, let's see if I can do this share screen quickly and easily. So our original mission and our ongoing mission is to connect consumers, especially mainstream consumers, with holistic approaches. Meditation, hypnotherapy, all of those more esoteric energy medicine techniques, acupuncture, chiropractic, acupressure, reflexology. Oh my God, that mostly, it seems mainstream to me, but I still know people who have never had a massage. And massage, I mean, it's a holistic approach, right? So, so how do we connect more people to all of those approaches? And for anybody who is thinking, there's just not enough business, here you go. US population, 342,777,115. Net gain of one person every 26 seconds. Okay, are we clear? Plenty of business, plenty of people who need you. We have, as an organization, between the company footprint and mine, we have over 56,000 followers. Many of these are people who are looking for holistic approaches. Like, where do I go? How do I find somebody who can help me in that? Right? They're following us because they want to know how to find professionals, practitioners, business owners like you, your products, your services. Okay, so I'm also going to suggest that you go to that company that I just talked about a few minutes ago, Google, and type in Population of. This does not need to be your state. Maybe it should be your city. Maybe you're in a small town and it should be your county. Just go and type that in. And then ask yourself, how many of those people know your name? Know the products and services that you offer? Know what the benefits are of using those products and services? Now, I also don't want us to be all pitch all the time. If you are all pitch all the time, a lot of people are going to stop listening to you very quickly, right? That's no fun. So, hey, lucky me, our new brand name leans toward and lends towards having a little more fun as well. So I have started, this is new with our new branding, I have started a once a month dinner party. We've only done one so far. It was absolutely fun. It is a little weird doing an online dinner party. I got to tell you, it's not the same. And we had people from all 4 time zones in the US. It was great. So look for those second Thursdays every month in the evening. They will have different topics every time, different themes, if you will. Okay, let's see. What am I missing so far?
You have a question from Bree.
Bree, okay.
Linda provided a very nice answer, but I'm going to have you answer it too. She says that she really liked the credibility it gave the community when she mentioned like Chamber of Commerce to others. How might we address this now?
So I think that we can still address it. We still talk about professionals. We still connect people with professionals. And we have to recognize that there are new generations that do not necessarily attach any meaning or any positive meaning to the term Chamber of Commerce. My generation, yeah, absolutely. There is a respect that goes with members of the local Chamber of Commerce for older generations. Newer generations, they might be more interested as to, can I find you on Yelp? Can I find you on Google? Do you come up in search results? So I think that our new brand recognizes that younger people still look, but they are not specifically looking for a Chamber of Commerce brand. And for older people in my generation, and actually we have members and consumers who are, we'll just say, in front of my generation, right? They recognize that the world has changed and that there are other professional organizations that bring respect and reputation. And it is because of who they are as a platform and a community as much as it is their brand name. Like the world is a little less tied to what your brand name is and a little more paying attention to how do you show up? And we show up consistently with a strong community and a strong online presence. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you.
Linda, I'm just going to read Linda's for those that are watching the replay of this because they can't really access the chat because Ms. Linda Lee had a very lovely response. She said that you could share that Holistix Online has broadened from a business chamber to a powerful community of business and other interested parties. And I like that, other interested parties, because that can be anybody that just shares in the vision and mission of more holistic wellness in people's lives and in the world.
Yeah. So, and I do see Jerry's question about holistics with an X. So, touched on it earlier and happy to touch on it again because I do think it is a bit of a big change, right? One of the things we found previously is that the word holistic with a C, people have a box around it. It is specific to healing. And it's, I'm not a chiropractor. I'm not an acupuncturist. I'm not a hypnotherapist. So this is not for me. And we're not just about healing, because what happens when you get healed? You move into transformation. We're not just about the healing therapies and the healing professionals. We're also about the people who are creating transformation. What do I do when my time is not spent worrying all the time? What do I do when I'm no longer so caught up in my drama and my trauma because I've healed and I have time for fun. I have time for creativity. I have time for meditating, not just about the pain and the sadness that I'm trying to get out of, but I have time for meditating about abundance and prosperity and expansion and helping others. It's hard to help others when you're fully caught up in pain and drama and trauma. As a matter of fact, what's that saying? Which, right? Hurt people, healed people, heal people. So we're going from that hurt to that healing to that transformation, and that X of Holistix Online is really designed to just kind of break open that box. It's really about like, how do we, this is really relevant for you as well. How do we invite more people in? How do you invite more people to participate, experience your products and your services? So if you are looking at your own business, right, it might not be a name change. It might not be, might not actually even be a big business change. Like if you look at our basic business, we didn't change it. We only really changed the public-facing branding. We still have an online member referral directory. That referral directory has always been there. Now, we definitely had members who were participating only in a local group and they did not pay any attention to what we were doing online. But that directory has always been there because our mission has always been, how do we connect more people to holistic approaches? We have had our public-facing events calendar since, I don't know when we started it, been over 10 years ago, right? How do we get more people in the door to your events, whether they are online or locally based? And our public-facing events calendar includes both online programs and locally based programs, which, by the way, if you are a member and you're not putting your stuff on that calendar, you should know that once it goes on that calendar, it can go out in our emails. It can be shared on our socials. 55,000 plus. Those are direct followers, by the way. I could say 1,000,000 followers, because if you think about our 55,000 followers and extrapolate that they're all at least connected to 20 or more likely, right? Then extrapolate the ripple effect from that 55,000 is to 500,000 to 1,000,000, right? That is some of the magic of social media, and actually email as well, is you send it to your direct connections, and it is easy to go beyond those direct connections. Marissa, we're working on an updated tutorial, make the most of membership. We're working on that.
I'm going to send her the link to schedule a call.
Absolutely.
I'm going to put that
Appreciate
in
that call
there.
will
Thank
be
you
with
so
me,
much.
by the way. So,
Yeah.
because we have found that for many of our members, they never log into their member dashboard. Log into your member dashboard. Sign up for you could put that that link to schedule something with me. You could put that in the chat. Happy to answer your questions. Happy to make sure that you're optimizing your directory listing, that you know how to add your events to our public-facing events calendar, all those things.
Also, too, holistics is plural, so it means more than just one. And I kind of really like that. That might not have been the intention, but I'm like, oh, holistics, it's many. And I wanted to address, maybe you can talk about SEO because that's kind of your world. But some we're talking about, worrying about when people search, like when people are they going to search for holistics, and what are people going to think when they see the word holistics? And I think it's just kind of like Google. When you see the word Google at first, like if you are an ostrich with your head buried in the sand and have no frame of reference, you're going to be like, what is Google? But what happens is people learn what it is, but it's not that they love that company because of the name Google. They love it because of the results that they get. So it's less about, brand names. I mean, branding, it's like you can brand name your name, you can make up a name. It's more about what result do I get from
I'm
it.
going to go further than that.
Mm.
There are brand names now, brand names that prior to them being a brand had no meaning. So we're tied to the meaning of holistic and Chamber of Commerce. By the way, to do this, I had to let go of two things that for me were sacred cows, Chamber of Commerce and the local groups. But look at the world now. We use the term Google as I'm going to Google it.
A verb.
Google is not a verb. And yet that brand has become a verb. Yelp. What was Yelp prior to Yelp? It was a word that described a word. Facebook. Facebook. What's Facebook? Faces and books. And yet it is not only, so I also want to express, this was nowhere, this is not even on my notes. For some people in this holistics marketplace, we would like to have a stronger voice in the world of advocacy and advocating for presence and respect for holistic approaches. Google and Facebook have a seat at the table. You want a seat at the table? Become a part of a larger platform and community and organization that really speaks to your values, who you are, what you do. But that is not about specific words like holistic and Chamber of Commerce anymore. That's really how are you showing up in the world? And Holistix Online can show up in some very, very powerful ways. I love some of the ideas that you are putting in this chat, and gotta say, really going to help with us as we prioritize how do we spend our time over the next few weeks? Where do we put our resources? Holistix website, is that,
Yeah, because Linda said, I'd love to see a live Q&A call on how to have fun using their website. I just want to make sure she was talking about the holistics
Online
Okay.
webs?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
She's nodding. She's like, yeah. I'm like, wait,
All
is
right.
it our
That's
website?
helpful. Okay. So let me just, we're at 40 minutes. Thank you guys for listening to me and asking your questions and being in the chat. And Lore, if you would share about some of the items that we've been doing that we're just we're not tweaking them, we're fine-tuning, we're massaging the details on some things, and also the new things that we can do now that we're through the bulk and the heavy lifting of the brand name change.
Yes. So let's start with the events. We have not like tweak with my word. Now I can't use the word tweak. We're adjusting. So business master classes, we have adjusted that to be the business exchange because that's really what we're doing. Again, we're trying to be a little more community focused. That's like our goal is to really be a community, not try, but be a community. And so the business exchange, when we have a member that's a featured speaker talking about a business related topic, we're exchanging information, we're exchanging ideas, having a conversation. So the business master classes is going to be more about that exchange. So you will see that name difference in those events. Our conscious connections, Zoom networking is staying the same. There's no adjustments to that name. Or the strategic mastermind, when we come together once a month and ask questions and share resources. Whether you are a consumer or a business provider, it's a platform where we can, pick each other's brains about, hey, what do you think about this? I was considering doing that. I'm having issue with this. So it's just more of an ask, share type of forum. We also are introducing the Wellness Cafe. And this is an opportunity for our members who are of the more holistic practice realm where they can share a particular topic, a health and wellness topic. So whether they're talking about a particular modality, maybe they're talking about gut health, maybe they're talking about brain health. It's a way for them to share information with the community about this is what this is about, and this is what XYZ can do for you. Or here's what you need to know about brain health, and here's what we've been taught, but that's not what the research is showing. So that's the Wellness Cafe. We also have the Wellness Studio, and this gives our seekers and our members to short experiences. We're talking 20 to 30-minute experiences to experience somebody's modality technique. If you've been around a little bit, I've been experimenting with Qi time. So I do a short 20, 30-minute Qigong movement breath awareness class. Coming up next week is that we have a guided hypnosis experience. So the studio allows us to, kind of step into a studio like you would going to a sound bowl class. Step into the studio and experience this particular modality. See if it sparks your interest, if it speaks to you. And this is great for our members too, because our professionals have a platform to share their expertise and their wisdom with other people that they might not normally come in contact with, because we are a virtual, online community. We have people from all over, so it gives them more visibility. Yes, Camille.
I just want to, so in that world, it is very easy for us to think once we get into the holistic realm, it's easy to think that everybody has already, I've been seeing a chiropractor for years. Doesn't everybody know what chiropractic is about? I've been going to an acupuncturist for years. I have been using NLP for years, or biofeedback for years, right? So we get in, we fall in love with these modalities and these techniques and these specialties, and all of a sudden we forget that there is a world, heck, skip the word, a country of 342 million people, many of whom have never experienced this magical technique or modality that we love so much. As a matter of fact, they might be stopped with a question like, is it covered by my insurance? Don't they use needles? I don't know. I don't have any friends who do that. Sounds really what? Airy-fairy? Woo-woo? How about if we shift that gear to try it? You just might like it. Explore, experiment. And so these wellness studios and these wellness cafes are another way to introduce people to all of these approaches. People who are going online, but they're not necessarily going to go get into your office and sign up for your product or service until they have a little, we'll call it a taste of, right? So I just wanted to throw that in there. Thank you.
Did I hit all the events? You already talked about your dinner party, so I think we're good on the events. Other things that you might have noticed changing, members, those of you that are members, and maybe non-members, is the way that we communicate in our emails. Now, we have two ways of communicating. We first have members only correspondence because majority of our events are for members only. So we have those emails that go out that provide Zoom links for our members and just correspondence that only pertains to members. But we then have our emails that go out to our entire email list, which is not just members, but also the people who are following us. And these are the emails on Wednesdays that share. I usually have a message on Wednesday. I started doing that. And then I also share member articles. So that's another thing about our goal is to be that resource, that Holistix Online total resource. So our members write articles for our resources section. We have a business related section. We have a wellness related section. And on Wednesdays, we share those articles. Hey, new member so-and-so just wrote an article about XYZ. Check out the article, take a read, and it provides education to the entire community. It's also a way to inform people of what's coming up. We have Sunday emails that go out to everybody. Hey, here's what's happening this week. And sometimes there's a little, humor, ha-ha line in there. But it's just educating people about here are the events coming up. And we do list our members only events in there, but also ones that are open to both members and non-members. Like this one, there's always be a registration link for that. We then have our big first of the month emails, and that's, hey, here's like a month at a glance. And that's really more informational. It's like, here's everything. It's like one giant monthly brain dump of what's going on, but it's good for you to look for that, to put it on your calendar, make sure, that you have all the dates set so you can join the events. And then we have our new members, like our Friday email that's welcome new members, that also spotlights a particular member and just talks about, hey, here's the member. Yeah, here's what they do professionally, but here's more a little bit personal about them, things they like, don't like, so that you can get to really know each other, even though we all live in different locations. So that is our articles, also our emails that are going out. Did I miss anything, Camille?
No, I think you got everything. If you could put the link, though, to our global events page in the chat, I think there are probably some people who would really like to see that. And yeah, and we'll try to send a follow-up email to all of you who registered for this that includes some of those direct links right in the email so that you can also take a look that way. All right, let me go back to a question from Jerry. It is a legit, really good question. And that is, what about search engine optimization? SEO, right? So first of all, I want to say membership at its bare bones basics is very good for your search engine optimization. We're not SEO firm, right? We're not going to go through your website and tell you all the things you can do for your website to improve your SEO. We are an SEO boost, which is to say your membership and your referral directory listing boosts where you come up in search engines. And of course, anybody who is searching on our website. Now, in order for that to be really effective, we want to make sure that our SEO is strong, that we are coming up in searches. So, first of all, the HolistixOnline.com website is not a new website. We took our old website and what do I want to say? We forwarded it. Actually, it is, so in the world of technical talk, it's a permanent redirect. So everything that was on holisticchamberofcommerce.com is now on holisticsoonline.com. And when people go searching for Holistic Chamber of Commerce, we'll still come up. Those keywords are not gone. And we all know how the internet works. It remembers everything for how long? For forever. So the reality is you could probably still do a search for Holistic Chamber of Commerce and get one of those old links. But more importantly, our new website is still based on everything we had on that old website. So whether people are looking for Holistic Chamber of Commerce or looking for Holistix Online will come up. Also, we have been able to use more time and more of our resources actually feeding our social media channels. Like previously, we were just so busy doing other things that we didn't have a ton of time for feeding our social media channels. And guess where all the algorithms go looking? They go looking online. They go looking to those big social media giants and to your channels on those, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. So we're now doing more posts on our core social media channels. Our posts are focused on our members, all of our members, and also on getting people to our directory listings, to our articles sections, to our member events sections. There's good news about that in that it is good for all of our members. There's also actually a little trickiness to that, I gotta say. And that is part of being an SEO boost means that if somebody goes to Google, you're coming up higher in the search results. Now, you don't necessarily see that as being because of your Holistix Online membership. You see that as Google. But all of your backlinks from your Holistix Online directory listing are feeding where you show up in those algorithms. And that, by the way, also includes AI recommendations. AI is definitely looking for third-party recommendations and backlinks. So for those of you who are members, be aware that for all members, there are 5 backlinks that can go to you and your channel. So first, your website. And if you don't have a website, we do have some members who are website developers, website designers. They are affordably priced and they are very good. And they are holistically aligned. They get you and where you're coming from. If you have a LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and or YouTube channel, you can also put backlinks to those 4 channels as part of your top level referral directory listing. Those links are all feeding the algorithms to you. By the way, in case you are used to reading articles about how this company or that company has started producing, how often holistic modalities and holistic techniques show up in their algorithms. Well, guess what? We're going to show up in their algorithms anyway, because we have been around since 2010. We have backlinks that have been around since 2010. We're creating backlinks all the time, which means we're always rising to the top. And what's that they say? Yes, a rising tide lifts all ships. All of those links, every time we get a new member, every time we post a new article, every time we're talking about a new event, that's creating a rising tide that lifts all of our members, all of the search engine optimization. Okay, Jerry, did that really answer your question? I'm going to take that as a yes. And if you
sort of, yeah, it's sort of. I think the main question I had was the overall holistics, not the, like as I put in the chat, if somebody is just looking around for a service, where will it show up? Like, say you go on Google, I'm looking for something about this. And that's the
actually,
question.
yeah,
How do you get it higher up so holistic gets mentioned? Because it's no good if you're on a listing that nobody knows where to look.
oh
And now
yeah,
that you have a new name, I mean, how are you going to get that name out there?
we're already getting that name out there. And also, in the world of keywords, it's not just holistic or holistics that people are looking at. We want to make sure that we're coming up when people are looking for meditation, for acupuncture, for energy medicine. So we've been able to use a lot of our newly freed up time to make sure that we're boosting our results, right, in those keyword areas as well. So we're already
That's
seeing
my
the results
question.
for that, but
Yeah.
it's on the radar, and it is actively on the radar. Linda.
Yes, and on your website, when we fill in our member part, our member profile, we have the opportunity to fill in a lot of more information or a lot less information. And I think probably the more information we fill in there on the Holistix Online website, our part of it, that would bump us up more and bump up the Holistix Online as well. So
I think it
this
also
is
has
a
to do with
real group effort.
keywords and all that stuff, which I'm not sure, but I mean, I think it's a combination, like I said, of branding and marketing. So if you get, how do you put in the right keywords that pushes the algorithm up so they notice holistics, that kind of stuff.
Well, so I will say before because oh, good gosh, 4 minutes left. I want to say though, I think many of us are aware, like being in business is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Anything you do is it takes time. And it's really a question of how much time or how much money, like what resources are you putting into it, and making sure that you're looking at, your priorities and prioritizing what needs to be done now, what needs to be done next, what's going to be good now, what's going to be done next. How many of you have a Fitbit? I don't, by the way, I don't have a Fitbit, but we all know that when you want to walk a mile, you do it one step at a time. When you want to walk a mile, you do it one step at a time. When you want to build a business, you do it one thing at a time, one action at a time, one implementation at a time. Some of those things are going to take you a hot second. Some of them are going to take you a hot minute. Some of them are going to take you an hour or a week. And some of them just build up over time. So just recognize that is part of being in business. Whether you are a solopreneur, a mom and pop shop, somebody like me with a larger team, right? And it does all build up. It's a good thing, right? The longer you are consistently around and showing up in those professional circles, in those directory listings, showing up in a community, the more it creates the results and the rewards that you are looking for. Is there a summary of member demographics? There used to be, and that link is not coming up for me. It's leading to error pages. So I'm going to see if I can find the newly updated link and include it. Basically what it is a breakdown of all of the categories that we have on our website and kind of the percentages of people that are in the different categories. By the way, for those of you who are members, you can be in up to 4 categories. So if you're not currently listed in 4 categories, we'll make sure that you are in at least 3. And if we can find 4 that fit, we'll do that. Okay, there's a minute left. I think you all have my email address, hello@holisticsoonline.com. You should feel free to shoot me an email. You have the link to sign up for a call with me. Laura, could you put the membership link just in case anybody on this call is not a member yet? You can sign up for membership. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Geobug and I already did that.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Laura, anything else?
That's it. Geo, my micromanager here, says we feel complete.
Okay. Love you all. We will see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye.